start off with, we've got Monkey Business by Vesper Unfiltered, and I have seen this because I caught it on somebody else's stream earlier today. And I think it's a fun song. I think the video might have been rushed a bit, but other than that, it's a good solid work. Let's give it a listen. Yeah, never enough self-promotion. Never enough elf promotion. I might show another video later on. Yeah. But anyway. All right. Here we've got the Monkey Business. And as I said, I think this video is slightly rushed and maybe in the production. It's well edited together and actually fitting in with the song. But I think the renders weren't given enough time. Like, for example, if you watch this bit here, you sort of see the massive blur that happens in the motion. This happens because the AI has trouble keeping up with its own rendering speed for motion sometimes, which is why I'm going to do a little bit of behind the scenes, see if it comes up properly on the screen. Get rid of this. I'd use this prompt at the start of trying to render the scene, so that everything's done in like slow motion, and everything's held. You're telling the AI, keep it the same, stop blurring everything. And then now this worked so reasonably well before, but it works even better now that you can actually continue the clip on, especially with Grok, where you can actually extend up to 30 seconds long. Now the slow motion that Grok tends to go for, I thought at first was like 2 times speed, which is why a lot of my renders, you see people moving, half speed. So when you see my renders, you see people moving in a rather jerky, fast motion, because it's not actually quite half speed. I found I actually need to get to about 1.6, 1.7-ish in terms of speeding up, to get it to a more normal. Yeah, it has its moments. It's like trying to get Keen's hat to not be a tricorn. Pirates have tricorns, therefore they will always have tricorns. If you replace a tricorn with a bicorn, there you go. That's still a tricorn. I want a 2-pointed hat, not a 3-pointed. Anyway, so this is a good basic one. Just put that straight at the front of your generation on Grok. The fixed static shock no zoom or pan is specifically for this scene where the camera, you want it to stay absolutely still, because by doing that it means that you can use the same shot, as in not the starting image, to generate another scene in the same area. Using that, and you can like link it in without having like the jar you can sometimes get. Whereas this one, I think it was just like a straight through render. Now, she's gone with a, I think it's used the description of maybe wool instead of dreadlocks for the hair to keep the look right, especially with the AI, the CGI looking sections. Because I know that the AI has trouble with dreadlocks. Oh, I know. It's nicely flowing. You see here where powder's moving much slower, there's less blur. So we've got an example here. I don't know if this was intentional, but I found that when you try and generate Banana Juju, and you start animating it, it'll either make her look very, very childish, which I think is like the monkey aspect being pushed through in the description, or it will make her absurdly proportioned, which I think was done purposely in this video. Well, these look like goblins. I think they're meant to represent the trolls. Yeah, no, this is definitely done exaggerated, but I have had it on occasion because I used the banana leaf version. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm not so good on the AI music generation side of things. I can hear a good song. I know when a good song comes through, and I can make small adjustments. But I've ruined more songs than I've been able to actually, salvage on Suno when I've been trying to adjust them. I mean, when I say ruined, you still get the original one you can go back to, but there are some where I had to just put them aside because I can't fix them the way I want to. But yeah, so you got, this is just playing on the whole Guna bait claims that people put out. Even though she's one of the most wholesome streamers I've come across. I mean, the lyrics talk for himself. It's just talking about how people treat the idea. It's like, no offense to the Americans in my audience, but you got to realize there's places outside the US. There's history outside of the US, and the problem is places outside the US start to think the US history is their history. That's what's happened with the UK, with all the claims of racism and oppression on certain cultures. We haven't had slavery in the UK since 1067. It's been illegal since then. And yes, we had companies that took part in the slave trade, but we haven't had slaves in the UK. British soil, if you were a slave and you stepped on it, you were free. Full stop. And Brits don't know this. It's not actually the Magna Carta. It's the Doomsday Book. When Harold Goodwinson, no, 1 second. Oh yeah, William the Bastard. Sorry, when William the Bastard conquered England and renamed himself William the Conqueror, he had the entire country inventoried, and that book was called the Doomsday Book. And he realised that if he put a tax on trading in slaves within the country, he could make back a lot of the money he spent waging war. And within a generation, nobody had slaves anymore. It wasn't technically illegal to have slaves, but nobody wanted to pay the fine, so they went to a different method. Instead, they had like the not indentured servitude. Think of it the peasantry rather than being slavery. Yeah, Britain bankrupted itself, making the world free of slavery. Well, they put themselves on the first steps of bankruptcy. It was the war that finally, it was in World War II, that finally bankrupted Britain. And why the empire fell apart. But yep, history lesson over. Just a bit of a rant about how people don't know history. And the sad thing is most of that stuff I didn't learn in school myself either. I had to learn through my own study of mythology and history, because I looked into things like, where does the legend of Arthur come from? What does Excalibur mean, and so on and so forth. And and you find out the references to real things that have been mythicized. And that's precisely the point here. Is that what she's doing isn't racist, because dreadlocks have been part of Danish culture for as long as anyone's had Danish culture, I think. I mean, most cultures have had at some stage that hairstyle as part of things. It's a good way to keep hair out of the way while still maintaining the beauty symbol of hair. It was more of a male haircut thing than a female haircut, from what I remember. Because like keeping the hair long and lustrous while still keeping it out of the way while in combat. No, not only Danish, yeah, but it's very famously Danish because the Vikings had them. So it's like one of those iconic mark things, but it's actually a real one, unlike horned helmets, which is yet another Danish marker. That they never had horned helmets on the Vikings. Vikings were very much about having the streamlined helms, no decorations. They didn't want things getting in the way, getting caught on them. They often had like decorations on the front, with the eye guard and the nose to extend that out, and like a skull effects and so on, but nothing on top and above, because you didn't want something that would have bounced off the helmet, catching instead and yanking you to the side, or redirecting the blow onto you. See, now this climbing animation is really well done. Bananas and rice. when I first saw this, I hadn't seen the earlier scene. I just came in part way through the song, so I thought this was a reference to a single individual. You might know who I'm referring to. Certain left-wing streamer. But then this happened. I was like, oh no, it's just like a general. That's an amazing scene of climbing. As I said with the video that I just showed you of mine, getting them to climb and not phase through things is hard. Now, I had the benefit of mine being a rock wall, so there was a flat-ish surface they could just climb up along. That was climbing behind, around, over, and through tree branches. Doing that without phasing through was a very, very nicely done scene. Usual sort of like AI glitching there, no problem there. It's minor. Bit of a weird transition, but I'm okay with it. See here, it starts speeding up, and you get a purposeful blur there this time, I think. And here's the other morph you can sometimes get with Banana Juju when you try and get a climbing or swinging or hanging something, getting monkier and monkier features. Now, I think this might have been done directly from like a linked video, so like copy their motions, because it's such a clean dance. I haven't tried that myself or anything, because I tend to do specific motions rather than, say, just have people dancing on screen, but it's very nicely done. And there's the original creator, Vesper. Very good song, nice animation. As I said, there's always going to be a few glitches. I probably would have spent a little bit more time rendering those earlier scenes, the 2D ones, and maybe threw a few extra scenes in and for timing purposes of the cuts. But it's a nice slow song, so it's not too much of an issue. All right, go give the original some love. I vaguely knew who Powder was before the whole Skybrow stuff. I'd seen her around, and I didn't even realise it was her when I saw her in the first sort of Skybrow's related viewing, because I'd seen the demon form before. I hadn't known she'd changed over to an elf. Oh, that's like asking how long's a piece of string, Andrew. It depends how much time and effort you're willing to put into it. How to sort of phrase it. Back when I made this scene, all this, everything was down to 10-second long clips. And I was doing slow motion renders to stop blur and model drift as much as possible. So I was effectively getting 5-second clips. And this video is over 5.5 minutes long. And even then, some of them I could actually extend. Because this one I actually told to do in fast, high speed, like a time lapse. So I could actually stretch it out a little bit. So I've actually got more time out of this one, because it was just such a nice shot. Yeah, and obviously you can sort of see where detail gets kind of lost. People are falling at different speeds and so on. Yeah. So if you're going to do something like this, I recommend you designing a very short song first. My first song was a 5-minute song, well, 4 minutes 40, and you can sort of see the difference in quality, but you will always improve as you go along. So let's just give you a quick. Not going to show you the entire thing, but you can sort of see the. That was one of the later scenes that I actually rendered into the video. And that was a scene where I forgot to specify the style. So it did a realistic rendition of the character rather than keeping it an anime avatar. And it would do like random things like forgetting to give him stubble, making him more bishy looking, losing eye colour. I learned you have to like prompt it to keep these things in. But yeah, so it's all about how much effort you went into it. This one probably took me the longest out of any of the ones I've done, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't have any guides. I just went on to Firefly, made some images, went onto the AI video generator that they had alongside Firefly. I'm not sure if it's still there. Tried that for a little bit and wasn't very happy with it. Tried Grok, liked it, but was getting fed up with how long it took to do things. So I then paid for Grok. So I had more data usage with it. Yeah. And then see, now there's a lot of model drift in this part, but it's a fight scene. Even in, I can say, real animation, as in like hand-drawn animation, you get that sort of thing because it implies speed. It helps. Also, the video's all over the place. I had no idea what I wanted to do with it. Was it going to be a lore video for my character? Is it a political speech? Is it just a fun video? But you can see things that inspired later videos. Looking very Keanu Reeves there. And this is actually what started me doing like the animated videos. Is I had Suno to make a end track for my streams that I was going to do for gaming, and I wanted to do a nice little friendly farewell sort of screen to go with it. So I tried animating this in the Firefly program, and it was not great. And so I tried it in Grok, and it came out a little better. And no, you're not going to see that one just yet. But yeah, it's I always try and go back and look at some of the older ones to kind of tell me that I'm not as bad as I think I am. I am getting better, because it can sometimes when you look at some of the other people's work at there, especially Skybrow stuff, you go, is that AI? Is he actually just manually doing that? Is he actually properly animating that? It's so good. So good. Yeah, you have to. I've seen how some people who are much better at the AI stuff I've seen them on like the Skynet Discord, um, putting their videos up, and I look at it going, "Why are you struggling with that?" And it's like, "Well, why don't you try this?" It's like, I'm actually helping. I actually know things they don't know, and we can share the information and improve that way. It's good. I'm loving this community we've got going on. It just because everyone works their minds through things differently. I mean, it's like I was saying, like with the editing and that, I favour a certain way of editing scenes together. Anyway,